Welcome to the channel. It's a beautiful day once again, and always a pleasure to be here and to see all your smiley faces. Yay! I just wanted to talk today about something so precious to me, and it's really about guarding your heart. I had this vision many years ago that the heart could be likened to something like a braai. The braai in South Africa, we have this thing we call the braai. It's a big thing. We even have a braai day, call it Heritage Day. Um, but it's really about how you set up like a barbecue, right? Set up a fireplace, and then you put all this meat on it. It could be meat, it could be chicken, it could be vorovos, like you see the pictures. Yeah, very exciting time. But the good thing about the braai is that it allows people to come together, to talk, to socialize, to distress, and then one exciting part about is you hear people say I'm the chief brine master. It's really about how they set the fire up. How they set the fire, how the fire is controlled to be at the right temperature, either for the beef or the lamb, or even for the chicken that probably needs longer to cook, or a quick one like doing a vorovos on the fire. So that fireplace becomes like an altar on which the meat or the braai is being placed upon. And the braai could come out completely charred because that altar is not prepared, or it could come out not even cooked because the fire is not burning and it's cold and it just sits there. And by the way, if that fire is off, meaning that the altar is not even ablaze, you now have flies and other insects going on to the food that has been put on the braai. But when the braai is at the right temperature and when the braai is burning at the right speed, it's glowing. That kind of glowing. Yeah. It's not just ablaze bah, and then burning everything that comes in its way, but it's just glowing. It's glowing in a very sizzling, peaceful, and calm way, so that anything that is now placed upon that braai in terms of meat can now cook very well. By the way, you may even put fish, you may put chicken, you may put um mealies, that is corn, you may put anything, madumbe, you could put it on the braai and get a nice vegetables, get a nicely cooked, slow, not too fast, not too charred, not too slow, just a perfectly cooked braai. So I had this vision some time ago about that braai being like the heart, your heart, and that heart needs to be sizzling, constantly sizzling at the right temperature. When we're in a hurry to make a braai, you set the fire, and before the braai gets to that point where it's sizzling, you put the meat on it, then the meat gets burnt. When the meat is now burnt, you now see that the braai is sizzling. I don't know if you've experienced that. And it's like, there's no more meat. The fire is still on. There's no more meat, there's nothing else to put on the braai. That is because the offering had been put on it too early. So we need to, and I like to see that braai stand as our hearts. So how do you guard this heart? How do you get it to the point that it's sizzling? It's just burning at the right temperature. It's bringing out the right heat so that when your request in forms of prayer comes onto it, it it cooks nicely. It's answered. It's not a touch and go. You know how you just put your prayer down, run away, but it's actually on an altar, on that altar of your heart, on that heart that is clean, that heart that is pure, that heart that is sizzling at the right temperature. There's a verse in the Bible that tells us that the prayer of the righteous man availeth much. You may be walking down the road and someone just says, oh, please pray for me, this and that is happening, and you stop there and then and you pray, and that prayer is answered. Is because that heart, that altar is sizzling at the right temperature and is able to accept prayers on it as an altar. So how do you do that? How do you guard this heart? How do you prevent it from getting too ablaze by unnecessary emotions of pride, anger, jealousy, hatred, all those things that the Bible says we should be careful of and avoid them? How do you guard it against that? That is what we want to look at. It's really about taking control of your emotions, about seeing that you don't allow things on the outside to flare you up. And this is really about taking many of those things that may want to hinder your walk with God or hinder your peace, want to take away your peace. You need to now take it to that place of prayer. You need to find a way of calming your mind. The Bible tells us that we should take control of every thought that goes through our mind, every thought of fear. You just take control and say, no, I'm not afraid. I had an incident recently. I was to get on a flight for a meeting, um, to attend a meeting at 10 o'clock. So I'd planned to take the 6 o'clock flight. And believe it or not, I had booked my flight in the wrong direction. And, you know, it was like, no, this can't be happening. And to buy an air ticket at, to buy like now for now, the price is always exorbitant. So I sat there and I thought to myself, like, okay, calm down, take control of those thoughts, think clearly, ask for help. So I did that. I went, God, please just take control. I went and I asked the lady, not pouring out my frustration on her. My flight, my flight. Says, oh, there are no more flights until 1 o'clock. Like, 1 o'clock, that means I'm going to miss this meeting. But by keeping calm, taking control, meditating, upon that I went straight and I opened up some kind of meditational message, and it says, no, you are calm, things are falling into place. The Bible says that if all things work out together for those who trust God. So I listened to all that. I'm like, yeah, okay, go and ask the next person. And I went to ask, oh, there's a flight. It's going in the next hour, but it's going to cost you so much. Do you want it or not? Thought about it. I'm like, okay, God, you're in control. Should I not? And like, go for it. I got onto that flight. It was such a beautiful flight. Yeah, it was by SAA. SAA. I got onto SAA flights and I got down, got to Durban in good time. I was able to get to my meeting. I was calm. I was able to take control of those emotions. Yes, there may be some other emotions that you have to be more forceful in taking control of that. I know I'm not going to get angry. No, I'm not going to get angry. Find ways that which you by which you could do this. I think in the last video or a past video I've talked about falling forward. How do you channel that energy in a way that when you look back, you will know that you are better than what you were at that time. Not channeling it in a way that you're shouting at the attendant. It's as if it's their fault. It's not their fault, but you now want to pour your frustration on somebody else who doesn't even know about your problems. They don't know I'm going to have a meeting. They don't know that why I booked it in the wrong direction. So why then must I pour my frustration on them? So by doing this, we now have a way of guarding our heart. We now have a way of picking up the pieces. Even just sitting still and closing one's eye, you might find that that helps you calm down. I have a friend, she will say, oh yeah, just calm down, calm down. Talking to yourself and saying, calm down. You can't do this. Don't be destructive in that time. And in that way, you guard your heart. So, coming back to the analogy of the bride, you would find that on that altar, being the heart, any prayer you would place on it, somehow it gets answered. So there's so much more in guarding your heart. Don't allow things around you to take your peace. It's not worth it. Because if you close your eyes and look away from the situation, there are many other good things around that you could be grateful for. And that's something also that one could do. Look at the issues, the other good things that are happening around you. I remember when my dad passed, it was like, oh, so many, many bad things. But I had to stop and count my blessings. The Bible says, or the song says, count your blessings, name them one by one, one by one, one by one. And you'll be surprised, what the Lord has done. So sometimes, yes, things may not be going in the way you had expected it. Maybe things are not turning out the way you wanted it. Maybe you were looking at a bigger income, but you're only getting this much. Be grateful for that. Count the blessing for that opportunity. And I dare say that every day you wake up and the sun comes up is a new day. It's a new opportunity. It's a new chance to go at it again and to even do bigger and better things. So, last word, I think we must find ways of guarding your heart and don't allow unnecessary infiltrations onto that, because the Bible says, guard your heart, for out of it comes the issues of life. God bless.